Hey everyone, just a quick trigger warning. We do talk about pregnancy loss and infertility issues in this episode. Please be advised that Little Miss Recap contains adult language.
Okay. A great speech lays out a detailed action-oriented plan, and the conclusion reminds everyone what you plan to do.
I disagree. Think about the best movie speeches of all time. Notting Hill, Bridget Jones, The Notebook. They're all like super emotional.
Are those your favorite movies?
Don't pretend you don't love them.
Hi, and welcome to Little Miss Recap, the podcast where I want to punch Lizzie in the face so bad. I can't even tell you. How dare she say that some of the best movie speeches are from The Notebook
Oh, yeah.
and Bridget Jones' Diary.
I
My
mean,
name's Amy Archer. I'm angry today, and I'm here with my spaghetti to my meatball, Steph.
what's up?
What's up?
You're angry about I get the Notebook anger.
Dude, I teach speech writing.
No, I'm just saying.
And Denny had it correct. Denny was correct in his approach to the speech.
Of course he was.
And then Lizzie's like, some of the greatest movie speeches ever. Have you seen Shawshank Redemption?
Clearly, no one in Virgin River is watching anything outside of like Nicholas Sparks.
Like, what the hell is she talking about?
Oh, I don't know. But I do love Bridget Jones' Diary. That's like one of my favorites.
I do too. But I'm not telling my students, go watch Bridget Jones' Diary and then
No.
write a speech. Could you imagine JFK delivering his inaugural address like
No.
Renee, what's her name, out of
Zellweger.
Bridget Jones' Diary?
Where
He's up there like crying and shit. Like, oh no, wait, Notting Hill. I'm just a president standing before you, asking you to love me.
to vote for me. Choose
Era,
me.
to just vote for me. Era.
Although I will say one of my favorite lines in Bridget Jones' Diary is when they're like chatting at work over the computer or whatever, and he's like,
Mhm.
P.S. like your tits in that top.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, I forget that movie. I haven't seen it in
I
forever.
fucking love that movie. It's
Is
one of my
Mr. Darcy in it?
favorites.
Who's the guy in it? Is it Mr. Darcy?
Yeah, I believe so. It's Hugh
Okay.
Grant and that other dude.
I love Hugh Grant.
too.
I know.
No, I have no shame in loving Hugh Grant. I don't care that he did weird things with prostitutes. That's not my
Oh, I don't
business.
care about that. I don't think that's. Isn't he problematic in other ways?
I mean, I don't know. I also don't. I honestly don't know.
I'm not gonna shame him for whatever he does sexually.
No.
Whatever. As long as there's two consenting
Wait.
adults, I don't give a fuck.
What did he do?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just
Oh.
saying, like, no, I would never shame anyone for your sexual. Fly your freak flag. That is our
no,
motto here.
For sure. But what do you think he did that we shouldn't like him?
I
'Cause
don't
I'm
know.
not aware.
I feel like, did he not get swept up in Me Too?
I don't think, I mean, I haven't heard. Now I need to know.
Can-
Listeners, if anybody knows, please go into our Facebook group and tell us why Hugh Grant is dirty.
Can we talk about what a holdie he is?
Oh, he's stunning. Oh, yeah.
I loved him in Love Actually, too.
Oh, God, that's a classic.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's so good. So good.
That's such a good movie.
So
Yeah.
good. I love it.
Okay, so did you notice we're talking Virgin River today, season 5, episode 2, Songbird. Did you notice Preacher and Jack and the sister, help me?
Bree,
they get a little wild and they start talking about banging.
I know,
Getting
I saw
laid.
that.
They're saying getting laid.
I know, in the kitchen.
I was like, what is this show?
Yep, of all places. Bree's bringing it.
Bree is bringing it. I mean, look what she's going home to, though, to be fair.
Ugh.
She's all horned up 24/7.
Oh, he's like a teenage boy.
Okay, guys, so we're going to do this one a little different. We're just going to go character by character. I tried to do that last episode, but I feel like I went too quickly.
Okay.
And so I didn't get some of the nuance that is, really important. So we're going to try this a little different. So we're going to start with Jack and we're going to end with Mel.
Ooh, okay. Go.
Yeah. So Jack, we see him, we pick up and he's visiting Charmaine. We saw, he started to do that last episode.
That beautiful
And
kitchen.
she tells him the baby's daddy was a mistake. Now, I have several questions here.
Same.
Okay. Number 1. Is Charmaine's baby daddy the mysterious stranger who was Bert's fentanyl dealer?
Do you think?
They gave him a name. They don't give people a full name unless they're going to be,
Oh, I didn't even think.
She was like, his name is Sebastian Bach. Like, he has a full name.
Sebastian Bach. Oh my God.
So, like, that makes me wonder, is he... Somebody is that baby's daddy.
Well, of course.
And
Do you
no.
think it's Brady?
No. How dare you? No, he only has eyes for Brie. Stop it. Although she got pregnant in 2007, so who knows?
Oh wow, yeah, true. He was really
She
a
was
child.
pregnant. She was pregnant before Brady and Brie even met.
Wow.
Okay.
That's really messed up. I can't even wrap my brain around it. Because, like, who's that? Are these writers not stupid?
This is like Little House on the Prairie when Laura was pregnant for like 17 seasons with Rose.
God.
So my second question is, she is a hairstylist. Now,
yes.
If you're a hairstylist and you're really, really good and you live in Beverly Hills and you're doing top clients, you could afford a house like this.
Yes.
If you are a hairstylist she doesn't work in Virgin River. Where does she work?
I don't know.
Grace
the other
Valley?
Town. Yes, but go ahead. You finish.
I almost said Elmdale, but that's Schitt's Creek's other town. But like, okay, so the rich dude bought her the house.
Yeah, and I think she's moving out of it.
Okay.
That's the impression that I got because the boxes on the counter all said Charmaine's kitchen stuff.
Okay.
So I got the impression that she was leaving, like she was moving out of that house.
Okay, because I'm like, there's no way. There's no way.
Oh, no way.
Okay.
No, that's totally that douchey rich guy's money.
Todd, was his name Todd?
Todd.
Of course it was.
Of course it was.
Of course it was. Sorry if your like husband is named Todd.
D-bag.
So Jack is like teared up and he's like, I broke my back for you and you lied. You humiliated me. And then she says, dude, you fucked me over and fell in love with Mel like while we were still together.
But
and
were
she's like,
they?
Well, okay, so we'll get to that later. I'm saving that because we'll get to that later. Okay. We'll get to that in about 1 minute.
Okay.
So she's like, I needed someone to help me and to provide for us and to take care of my boys. And he says, you have my sympathy, not my forgiveness. Dun, dun, dun.
Again, I'm still not understanding what he's so upset about.
I know. We're both like,
what the fuck?
So meanwhile, Mel tells Jack later when she sees him, like, you totally led Charmaine on, dude.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I was very clear. Now, everybody listening has had this type of relationship in their life. I don't want anything serious. But you're pretty much living together, acting as boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yep.
This is what Jack did. He fuckboyed Charmaine.
He did. I think you're right. I think he did too.
He did. And Mel says that, like, you banged her and you let her fall in love with you.
Well,
like, no matter what your words were saying, your actions were saying otherwise.
But are you responsible for someone else falling in love with you? Because I don't think that you are.
I don't think so. But don't forget, Mel says this went on for 2 years. So, like, after year 1, cut her loose if you don't want anything to do with her.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Well, I mean, how many Pickens are there in Virgin River? I mean, until Mel came along, I don't think there was anyone.
According to Hope, there was like 3,587 people in the town.
I know, I cannot.
And Jack, let's face it, can have anybody he wants.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so and Charmaine could too. She's beautiful.
Definitely.
And she doesn't even live in Virgin River. She's not even a resident.
No, like, get out of here, Charmaine. Go back to the trash pile. Serious.
Later, Charmaine visits with Doc, and I forgot that Doc cheated on Hope with Charmaine's mother.
I didn't remember that either.
Who was Hope's best friend.
Oh, wait.
Not Lily. She became best friends with Lily after this falling out.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering how he knew so much about her. I totally forgot
Yeah,
about
because
that.
Charmaine starts remembering like how her mom was a big old slut.
Yep.
She's basically like, everyone in town called my mom a whore.
Yep.
And Doc's like, your mom was not a big whore. Okay, I knew her. I banged her. She was fine. Whatever.
Is Doc like the older version of Jack?
Did Doc fuckboy Charmaine's mom?
Did he? I bet he did. Because he's a good guy.
Doc is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. We see him get a little
Okay.
cranky later.
I
but
know. I do want more on that cheating situation, though, with Rachel.
They covered a little bit of it. And, oh, stop it.
Sorry.
Stop it. Don't ever do that to me again.
I love you.
So Charmaine heads over to Mel's and she apologizes to her. And Mel accepts the apology. And then Jack and Charmaine talk.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack's like, look, maybe I did lead you on, even though I was crystal clear that I didn't want anything.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I led you on.
Mm.
So they agree to forgive one another. And then Jack's like, what's your plan? Like, what are you going to do here? And she's like, well, I think I'm going to go sign up for subsidized housing and I have to live at a shelter and I have to get on a bunch of food lists and maybe I can get government health care. And Jack just goes, okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. So you got everything covered. I'll see you later.
He's
like, what?
First of all, how does she go from like living in that big, beautiful house, which I know only happened for half of a second, but to being like homeless and needing to go to a shelter? What? I can't believe.
Dude,
Like,
I
this
mean,
is so cringy.
Yeah, but think about it. Like, if you only had a hairdressing job and you had nobody else and you had the boys, you might have to live in like a subsidized situation. Nobody paying child support.
I didn't think
no
of
child
that.
support.
God damn.
Yeah. I mean, her mom's
know.
dead.
I know.
Her mom's dead. I don't know where her dad is.
I bet she doesn't know who he is.
Her father.
Amy.
I don't think the cheating happened that long ago. We have to go back and decide if the cheating happened that long ago.
All right, we got to figure it. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget.
All right. Okay, so later Jack and Mel and Brady and Bree have dinner and Jack thanks Brady for sticking by Bree through everything. Mm-hmm. Now we go over to Bree. Over to Bree's house. She smartly moves Brady right into that bed.
I knew it.
Smart girl. You
know what this reminds me of though, because the last two episodes, well, the first two episodes, obvious, I guess, right? There you only see them in bed, like on Yellowstone, but like with the Eagle Muppet and Sarah.
Yeah,
they're always just canoodling in bed. Like
at least they're not having sex on a green leather couch.
Why is he just like laying there lazy as fuck?
I'm here for it.
But like they're all like, here's what I don't understand. Pause. Why through all this whole thing you see everyone is just like leisurely walking around? Does no one have a job or
there is
there's no sense of urgency for anything?
There's no sense of urgency.
I'm like, what is happening?
No. And I will admit to you that I may have let my DVR or my Netflix run into the next episode for 2 minutes.
So did I.
2 minutes.
Because I swear it didn't stop. It just went right into some dancing and drinking.
We got some hot drunk Jack.
Yes. And I actually said to myself, now there's a guy I'd be attracted to.
Me too. I'm like, this is exactly what Jack needed to get off the wagon.
Yes. There's the guy that I fell in love with. Sign me up.
Little Miss Recap does not condone falling off the wagon. We take addiction seriously.
Just a little bit into what I like. Yeah.
So, and then he's like falling down drunk, and I'm like, oh my god,
it's so hot though.
Okay.
When he's dancing, it's so hot.
But then we realize it's a night terror.
I know, but now I can't stop
laughing.
He
has all these night terrors. Why does he have all these night terrors?
He has PTSD from the war. Like,
but he's seeing Wilson or whoever's therapist is. Barnaby. What's that guy's name?
I don't know. Who cares? I don't know. Let's stick to this episode.
All right, let's go with Bree. So Jack and her take a hike, and she tells him about the rape. And she asks him not to come to the trial. And at one point, Jack's like, "You're a victim of a terrible crime." And she's like, "I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor.
Yep.
Take my lead."
Yep.
Okay. Now we're going to scoot over to Hope, Lizzie, and Denny. These three.
This is ridiculous.
Hope is dedicating Lily's garden today, and she plans to use the speech as a public lashing against those who are out to get her.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I just have so many thoughts on this. Go ahead.
She threatens Lizzie with having to give her a sponge bath if she doesn't help her write her revenge speech.
What? So she's clearly not like disabled though. Why are they making it like she's incapacitated?
That's a good point.
She's not. A good point. Why does she need a caregiver?
Hope can. She doesn't need a caregiver. She needs a companion. That's what she needs. Companion care. Like just somebody stick around, make sure you don't do anything crazy. I know. Because you have the TBI. That's it. She doesn't need somebody to sponge bath her. Oh my God. Okay.
So weird.
So Lizzie's like, "You need to take a page out of the best speeches from the best movies ever, like The Notebook, Notting Hill, Bridget Jones." We've discussed this. She says, "The key to a good speech is that they're super emotional." No. I used to teach rhetoric. I taught rhetorical analysis. That is not the key to a good speech.
What is?
It depends on the audience. It depends on the situation. You're giving a eulogy? Yes. Pack that with some pathos. But if you're like giving a speech where you're trying to maintain your position as mayor, you want a little bit of ethos. You want to show people that you're qualified to do this. Not what she's doing. Anyway. Okay. I'm off my soapbox there.
Okay.
So Denny's like, no. You lay out a plan and then the ending has a call to action. He's 100% right. Denny would have passed my class. And Hope has a spell. She has some kind of spell where she like looks off into the distance real weird. And Lizzie's like, "I'll get you medicine."
She has a headache.
So they go upstairs and Hope tells her the story about how they incorporated the town and Hope became the first and only mayor.
You guys, pause. We need a big pause right here. What is Virgin River only as old as what's her fucking Hope? Or is Hope like 275? Like what?
I don't know, because the way it sounded, it was very like we were settling Walnut Grove. Like it was like, oh, Hans, Larson came here and settled in Walnut Grove and Nels came shortly after, whatever. It was no.
I know. It's really freaking, this whole timeline of this show is so absurd.
It's absurd. Maybe they settled the deal when Charlene got pregnant.
Oh my God.
So she gets all emotional and Lizzie's like, "Yes, use that in your speech." And Denny goes against his own instincts and is like, "Okay, use that in your speech." She does, and she loses her mayorship, which she should have because of that. Okay, Preacher. Not much going on with Preacher. He makes great macaroni and cheese and misses the fuck out of Paige, and he's horny. That's what I have. He's horny. He makes good macaroni and cheese, and he misses Paige.
Well, Jack we learned a little about his mom and dad.
We did. Jack tells him, "Have fun, make mistakes, get laid." And Preacher's mom apparently was like a super good cook and gave him all her recipes, and we see him flipping through her cookbook and then finds a little picture of himself. And then he later tells Mel he always wanted to have children. He's like, "I've been in Virgin River for 7 years. I want to have kids. I want to get married. What is taking so long?"
Whoa.
And I'm like, dude, marry Charmaine. Instant family.
Maybe the town is so young that not enough people even live there to like hook up with other people. You have to step outside, and that's why Jack had to find Charmaine.
And that's why Mel moved to town and Jack was immediately
right, because she's the only woman that's walked in like ever since Hope. Yeah. Apparently.
Hope was there, setting up the mail, the post office, setting up the bank. She was busy. I don't know what they're gonna do with Preacher.
I don't either.
I read the description for the next episode and it said Preacher meets a firefighter. Is that where we're going with this?
Oh.
And where are the queer people here?
I know.
Is no one gay?
Well,
is no one questioning?
What? Who's gay? The one with the hat. Help me.
Oh, the new hippie from
Yes.
Portland.
The
Yes,
the
first gay
Lily's
character.
daughter. Yeah, but I don't even know
Mm-hmm.
her name. Isn't that terrible?
Ava. I just don't know why one of the main characters can't be queer. Like, we need some diversity here, guys.
I know.
What's going on?
Well,
Some
I think
sexual diversity.
that's what they're doing with Ava. See, I initially
I
thought
hope
that
so.
Ava was thrown into the mix to like throw a wrench between Bree and Brody. Brady?
Brady.
Um,
How dare you?
I'm sorry. I can't. I have like sex
No, I just
anxiety
mean,
on the
how
brain.
dare you insinuate they can be broken up?
No, but oh my God, he's an asshole. He's gonna break her heart, dude. You know he is. But then
No,
when
he
she said
caught
that,
up in Grandma's drug ring.
but then when she said, that, when she came out, blah blah blah, and I was like, oh, okay, well there goes that theory. I don't know.
Yeah. So do you think there's somebody closeted in Virgin River?
I mean, there must be.
Could Charmaine we just throw everybody with Charmaine?
I was gonna say Bert.
Bert's not a lesbian. Bert's an old married
No,
man.
but I meant like maybe Bert's gay. I mean, old people can be gay too.
Yes. Late in life lesbians, yes. Can Hope be a late in life lesbian? I could see that storyline.
Yes.
Jesus
I
Christ,
could totally
guys, give us
All right.
something.
I'm who's the writer on this show? Who's writing this? I'm calling them.
I don't know, but they have no gay people in this town. I don't like it. Hey everyone, stay tuned. Little Miss Recap will be right back after these words. So now we have Doc and Cameron, and Doc gets all aggro with Cameron, which I don't blame him. Cameron sucks.
Cameron blows.
And Cameron didn't file some insurance claims. And then we have Muriel. Now Muriel and Cameron have some chemistry.
I thought so too. And all right, you go ahead, and then I want to tell you.
She's old enough to be his mother.
I know she is.
Okay. So she comes by and she's like, oh, I was a nurse for 5 minutes in 1978. Let me submit those claims.
Do you know?
Our medical billers out there are ready to jump through the screen because they all know that if Muriel did this 25 years ago, the landscape has vastly changed.
Yes.
And in sending in insurance claims, submitting insurance claims is not the same now as it was.
I know how messed up I am. My first thought when she was like, oh, I'll file those claims. I'm like, oh, is she going to start embezzling?
Well, that's the show. This show will do that to you.
I'm like throwing all these random shit that like just pops up in my head. I'm like, oh, embezzling. And then I'm like, oh, would she do that? I don't think so.
I don't think she would
too.
I don't think she would do that, but I think she's going to bang Cameron.
I think she is too. He reminds me of someone, I just don't know who, and it's driving me bonkers.
The Night Stalker?
I don't know.
Ted Bundy.
No. He reminds me of like the kid that comes to school, like moves to school from out of town when you're in like 7th grade.
Oh, he reminds you of Danny LaRusso when he moved to Reseda in The Karate Kid.
Yes. Yes. I hate you so much. And Mel's like the Elizabeth Shue.
He's gonna be like out on the beach and a bunch of Cobra Kais and skeleton costumes are gonna jump him over a boombox. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yes, and he's so dorky. Ugh, I can't.
So she tells Cameron, like, have a backbone, stand up to Doc, and he'll respect you because I mean he's married to that bitch Hope, so he can take it. So Cameron does this, and in his standing up to Doc, he references that Doc knew him as a young boy. Did we know this?
I didn't know that at all.
I thought Cameron was a stranger.
So did I, 100%. I
think they're changing history here. I think they're
changing it too. I was gonna ask you that, and I like, do I have to go back and watch when they first hired him? I might have because I didn't remember that at all. I was like, wait a minute.
So later, she's making coffee and I don't know, cleaning the kitchen. They offer her a job, and she accepts.
Which I thought was weird that he would have done that without like talking to Hope first.
Well, hire Muriel?
Yeah, because Hope.
Right, because Muriel's hot for him.
Right, and everybody knows it. I mean, That's my problem with Muriel. She pretends she's everyone's friend, but she's really like the town whore.
I like her a lot.
Of course you do.
I really do. I like her.
Oh, I don't dislike her.
I'm like, that Muriel, she just has her shit together. She can run that office.
She can. Yeah. 1,000,000,000%, but she's trouble.
She's trouble. Mm-hmm. She's trouble. She's going to take your man. She's going to steal your man.
Yep, she is.
So now we have Brady, okay? And we're going to save the last scene for later. So we're just going to cover a little bit what happens earlier. Brady hops on his bike and he flies over to that drug site and he's like, how dare you motherfuckers throw a rock through Bree's window? We had a deal, blah, blah, blah. And Grandma's like, Grandma's not, no, let's call her, she can't be Grandma. She has to be like Nana. She has to be something like softer.
Who's this?
The drug queen pin.
That's DQ.
No, she's got to be like Nana.
All right, Nana. Nan.
So Nana says, I'd like to introduce you to Gene Sackheim. And that's the guy. That's what I'm talking about.
I was going to say Gene Simmons.
You know what? Gene Simmons showing up at this job site. I don't know. That would track.
I'm crying.
So Gene Sackheim is there, which tells me that he has like something in the story. Why do we need to know his full name?
No clue.
And they're like making him a character.
Maybe he's what's her name's father.
No, I think he's Charmaine's baby daddy.
Baby daddy? All right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I called him Bert's drug pusher.
Bert's box of biscuits.
So Bert has a drug pusher and it's Gene Sackheim. And Brady's like screaming and Nana's like, we didn't do this, you fucktard. If we did it, she'd be dead. You know how we run shit here in Virgin River. And she says, oh, by the way, I need you to work late tonight. Don't disrespect me again, motherfucker. And she has on like opal earrings and like a cute little scarf.
She just crawled out of a cold water.
Play mahjong.
Yeah, she looks like my mother-in-law coming out of Coldwater Creek.
Yeah, yep. So now Jeb wanders over, okay? And he and Brady are having lunch. This is a little bit later. And he's talking about how he needs this job to support his kid Annabelle and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, look, I'll cover for you tonight so you could go to that dinner with your in-laws. And, well, they're not in-laws because he and Bree are not engaged yet. So he's like, we got to watch out for one another here. Like, we're in this shit storm together. You know, we're in the trenches together. And Brady's like, okay, more on that later. All right. So now we're going to scoot over. We're going to scoot over to Mel.
Ooh.
So now how do you feel about Fleetwood Mac's Songbird?
I mean, I love Fleetwood Mac.
I do too.
Like, I love Fleetwood Mac. There's not a soft Fleetwood Mac song that I don't like.
I do too, but Songbird's not one of my top
not mine
5.
Either. Mm-mm.
Nope. So Mel is hiking and Fleetwood Mac's Songbird comes on and she has a memory of being young and she thinks about her mom. When she gets home, she tells Jack that, or Jack tells her that he saw Charmaine and he can't forgive that lying tramp.
Mm-hmm.
She's a whore like her mother. So Mel says, oh, I got that weirdo hippie Ava because I forgot to mention last episode that she collapsed at the end.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's like sitting in a booth and she like flies out of the booth. It's like me drunk, flies out of the booth onto the floor.
Like me drunk when we were at Jilly's a million years ago and I fell and tore my ACL in the middle of the bar. Yeah, that was great.
Yep. Do you remember we were at Jilly's one time and I was really drunk in the bathroom and I was sobbing because the guy who bought my parents' house was out in the main restaurant area and was talking about my childhood home. Aww. And I was like, I couldn't handle it. And I was sobbing in the bathroom and everybody was in there trying to console me. Do you remember this?
I don't. I was probably drunk too.
Yeah, probably.
Screw him.
So anyway, Jack says, you could take the girl out of the clinic, but you can't take the clinic out of the girl or something like that. And then he just wants to bang. Now, I have a lot of I have a lot of thoughts about these two.
Okay.
Number one, there are always candles lit.
Mm-hmm.
They go to sleep, there's candles lit. They wake up, there's candles lit.
Oh,
That
it's
is,
romantic.
it's irresponsible.
Yeah.
And I don't know, who's the smoke prevention dude? Is
Considering
Smokey the Bear the fire
Smokey the Bear,
prevention?
yes. And considering, didn't that motherfucker's house burn down? Are we that
Yes.
stupid?
Yes. And she lives in a log cabin.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Whatever.
So they just sit around and they like just hold each other and talk with candles lit all the time. Marriage does not look like this, guys.
No.
Engagement does not look like this.
Nothing looks like this but Virgin River.
So Mel and Ava have lunch after her appointment and she reveals that she has endometriosis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So talk to me about endometriosis because I know it's like a devastating, very serious condition.
Mm-hmm.
What happens there? Do you know?
I know a little bit.
Okay.
So, medical corner. Wah, 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 woo, woo, woo. Okay. So endometriosis, I believe, I don't have it. I'm not an expert on it, but what I believe it to be is it's like an overgrowth of some kind of cells in the lining of the uterus or the fallopian tubes that grows in there. And it can also grow outside of the uterus and connect to like other organs. It's really it's horrible.
So that could fuck with your fertility.
100. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people. I do know, not a lot, but I know a couple people, somebody that we know has it. And has struggled with infertility. But the only treatment really is surgical removal, and there's no guarantee that it won't come back.
Which is what happened to Ava.
Mm-hmm, yep.
This was devastating.
It's devastating.
It was sad. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't imagine, like, my heart breaks for people who have to make this decision. Like, do I undergo treatment or do I get a hysterectomy?
So here's what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
I think she's going to adopt the baby.
Chloe?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how she's going to end up, like, sticking around in Virgin River.
So Tara has Chloe right now, right?
Right. But but
Tara hates
younger, Chloe. And I don't think she hates her, but I think she's like younger. I think she's obviously younger. And I think she's just not ready for it. And Ava wants kids. So I think it makes sense if she were to take that on.
Well, that's the thing. Ava says she never wanted kids before.
Right.
But like, I feel like there's something that happens to you when that choice is taken from you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think that she at this point was like.
Yep. But that's what I think is going to happen. That's my theory.
Okay. All right.
I'm probably wrong because I usually
am. And then I wrote, yay, yay, yay. We learn Ava is a lesbian.
Yep.
I'm here for this.
Yep.
So then she says, she's really missing her mom. There's a lot of mom this episode.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So now I'm going to make a confession to you. We're back at the cabin and Mel's talking about her mother and I started crying.
Did you?
I did.
Oh,
dude, my crying is out of hand.
Are you like
when I'm watching shows?
Really? I'm not a big crier.
Oh my God. I was ugly crying at, what was I watching recently though? Oh, 90 Day Fiancé the other way. I was ugly crying. Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right.
Well, there's a couple on there, Kenny and Armando, and Armando lives in a very strict Catholic Mexican culture.
Okay.
And he was not able to come out. So he was like kind of forced into marriage. And when he did come out to his wife, she flipped out on him and she took off chasing him in a car and she got into a car accident and she died and their baby died.
Oh my God.
She was like 8 months pregnant.
That's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
That's so tragic.
And Armando was, I'll put trigger warning at the beginning of this episode. Yeah. And Armando was telling the story about it. And he was talking about how like he thought about ending his life and it was a really dark time for him. But he had a daughter at the time. They had a daughter already. And he's like, she saved my life. And he's sobbing while he's telling the story. Right. So, of course, I'm ugly crying in the kitchen. Like,
I would probably cry over that, too. I mean, we're talking about a dead baby.
And they're, like, such nice people. Like, Kenny and Armando are just so sweet. It's like, oh, you
But
just wanna
like
reach through the thing and hug him.
I also I hold some space for that wife too, because imagine like
Yes.
that's hard
Yes. Of
too.
course. Yes, absolutely. But it's really the fault of his parents and his
I
culture that
understand that, but
made him feel like he had to hide.
I totally get that, but I also
Yeah.
feel very sad for her too
Me too.
because,
Me too. It was just like tragedy all around. You
totally.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
A tragic sandwich, as I like to say.
Okay, well, that's one I won't be eating.
So so now we have Mel and Jack, and they're just sitting on the couch after dinner, just holding one another,
Mhm, mhm,
talking about how much they love each other by
mhm.
candlelight with
Patrick and I
sweet
do
music
this
playing.
every night.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Timmy and I are gonna do this tonight. And Songbird comes on, and Mel tells Jack it was her mother's favorite. And then she has a memory of Joey and her as young girls after their mom died. And
Yeah.
apparently, mom had lost a baby named Chloe. And she asked Jack to dance with her, and they start dancing. And she tells him how, like, her connection to her mother was her nursing.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have that connection right now because she quit her full time job to learn to sew. And so she doesn't know what to do. And Jack is like, I wish that I got to know your mother, and I wish our little girl would get to know your mother. Like, it's really sad.
It
And I
is.
was crying. I was
I
crying.
mean, I wasn't
Mhm.
crying, but it was touching.
I was crying. Because I was thinking about, like, not to get morbid, but where would I have been without my mom and my gram
Mhm.
raising my kids? Like, I would be like an idiot.
I
You know
get
what I
it.
mean?
I know. I
So now
mean,
we have the ending scenes. So here's what happens at the end. These are the cliffhangers. Preacher hears there are wildfires headed towards Virgin River from that
ooh.
fucktown Grace Valley.
Ugh,
Thanks,
whores.
Grace
Because
Valley.
it's full of whores. The town is just on fire.
Somebody must have been smoking and threw their butt out the window. And then Brady gets back to the job site and he finds Jeb face down in a pile of drugs. Apparently, he was tasting the merchandise.
Did you see all the powder in his mustache and his nose? Could that have been any more freaking ridiculous?
Right, we're not laughing at the overdose. We are laughing
No.
at the ridiculousness.
Yes.
Like, they really took drugs and just
Just
smeared
smeared
it
it.
under his face.
Took drugs. They took drugs and smeared it, not like
Yeah.
powder or flour, actual drugs. The
And we see
Virgin River
Brady
crew actually used real drugs.
like, pick up the pile of fentanyl. He's like, "Wait a minute, we're missing one thing from this pile."
Is dead
And
guts.
now Brady is fucked because
Oh,
that Jack Sackheim or whatever his name is not gonna take well to this.
no.
And neither is
Nana
Nana.
is gonna
Nana
be
is
he's going
pissed.
right into fucking timeout. You can rest assured Brady is gonna be in timeout. Nana is
Yes,
not
he
putting
is.
up with this shit. He's going back to his mother.
So that's the end of the episode, and that's where we stand. Now, I liked this recap better. I
Same.
feel like going through a little bit more detail was better. Guys, I let me know what you think in the episode comments. Let us know.
Yes.
Come at us.
Come at us. Well,
Just come
don't
at
really.
us.
I mean, I don't really care.
What do we think is going to happen? Do you think Brady's going to be on the hook for Jeb's death?
I do. I think something bad's gonna. There's no way Brady's just gonna. Something bad is gonna happen to Brady. Period.
Why is my man Brady in this precarious
'Cause
situation?
he's problematic. I want to know what's gonna happen to Preacher because he has no story anymore.
He's just gonna meet this stupid I almost said firefly. He's gonna meet this
Oh.
stupid firefighter and I don't know, bang his way around town. I don't know because they seem to be making a real big deal about his macaroni and cheese. Are they like marketing that? Is he gonna produce a real macaroni and cheese? And if so, I'm here for it.
Same, although I make a really good macaroni and cheese, and I bet
So
it's
do
not as
I.
good as mine.
So do I.
Just saying.
My mother-in-law makes a macaroni and cheese with tomatoes in it.
I've heard of that. Well, yeah.
And it has like a little tomato soup in it.
Um,
My kids love it. Now I make it 95 pounds of cheese.
Same.
Real cheese.
Real cheese.
Yeah.
All the Gouda, all the delicious. Get in there. Yep.
But I do like her version. I like any macaroni and cheese.
Me too. I prefer, like, during a time of comfort, just the bare basics. Like, just give me the
Yes.
mac and
Yeah.
cheese. Save that tomato stuff for like a fancier time of
Now, now growing up, my favorite was Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Oh,
Because Jenny and I ate that almost every night.
okay.
While Mom was at the gym. We talked about this.
Oh, way to go, Donna.
And then we would have contests who could swallow more noodles whole.
Oh my
without
God.
choking.
Stop it.
I think it was Jenny's way of trying to kill me.
I think it was too.
I think she wasn't swallowing anything.
No, she totally wasn't.
Yeah.
This was all a plot. It was all part of a plan.
All right, guys, if you like our coverage of Virgin River, subscribe, share the episode, leave us a 5-star review. That'd be lovely. We would love that.
Amazing.
Thank you very much. That would be amazing. Stay tuned for more of your favorite reality stuff. We're doing Sister Wives over on our Patreon, and we're doing 90 Day Last Resort on our free feed. And Steph and I are going to be jumping into Married at First Sight when that comes back. We're very excited.
Can't wait.
That's it for now.
All
right, Steph.
Love
I
your
love you.
bonds. Love your bonds.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye.